Today's the day we're going to figure out how much weight we're going to lose going from this stock K-member brake setup to this one-off foxbody with a lightweight brake setup. In this video, we're going to scale both of these, but also I want to mention that, a lot of this stuff I'll have to cut out and weigh separately from the K-member itself, like these upper control arms and mounts. A lot of this stuff can be cut off here. There's a torsion bar mount in the middle of the car that's going to get cut out and replaced with a lightweight setup. And also, where the torsion bar, I had to cut it, there's like a pretty heavy cross member here. You can see it inside the car. So a lot of that stuff's gonna take time. For right now, we're just gonna weigh this. I'll weigh the other pieces separately, and I'll put the total at the end of the video after I get done cutting it. All right, guys, so I just took the springs off here, but we're at 68 pounds. With them springs on there, and this is basically knuckles, brakes, shocks, or struts and springs. I'm gonna take all this stuff off, put the K-member across two of them and check that, and then I'll give you a total. All right, guys, so here's what we have for the K-member and arms. You can see it's completely off the ground, supported by those two. 36 pounds. So 36 for the K-member, 68 for the brake parts, the struts, the hubs, the spindles, and all that stuff. That equals 104 pounds total. And I'm missing a rack. I don't know, maybe 10 pounds ish. So it might be, probably close to 110, 115. That's what we'll call it. I'm gonna weigh this one. I can get this out of the way. Like I said before, I still have a bunch to cut out, so I'm probably gonna take them arms off and those brakes that are dangling, because those are a significant amount of weight, and I'm gonna put all that on there, and then I'm gonna probably say it's 30 more pounds to cut out of the chassis, which I will do and weigh it, and then I'll have a confirmed number at the end of the video. All right, guys. I don't think I showed you guys when I was doing the K-member, but it was 178 pounds for the K-member, and between 38 and 40 for the brake parts and the torsion bars. We got the upper control arms and the adjustment bolts off. It is 12 pounds. So 230, well, you can see I had 218 before, plus 12 pounds for the upper A arms. 230 makes a disparity of 126. So I gotta cut all this stuff out. I'm not gonna do it right now because I want to make sure that this is all gonna work before I just hack everything off, which inevitably I would make it work, but I'm gonna test fit the other K-member first, and then kind of go from there. But right now we're at almost 130 pounds difference, and we haven't cut any of the bracketry or the tunnel cross member or the mounts underneath the car. I don't know if you can see them back there, but there's some pretty heavy iron where that those torsion bars went in. As you can see right here, it's pretty heavy. It's about like that. It's just the mount that goes across and holds them. So I think there's at least 10 pounds there, and I would say maybe 10 between both these brackets. So we're looking like maybe 100 and a little bit, 150, maybe a little more. I originally thought 200 just because this thing is so heavy and cumbersome to drag around, and I'm not 100% sure that all the weight was being, I really should have like hung the weight, or like lifted it up with my cherry picker with a weight thing in between, but it is what it is. That's where we're at. I'm gonna test fit the K-member and then I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like. Super happy to have this K-member in. Don't worry too much about the positive camber right now. I've got to cut my engine bay bars. This is gonna end up probably somewhere in this general area and probably a little bit higher. So I'll have to get a ball for these. They make like a uniball mount where it turns easy and stuff. I gotta get one of them cups. And like I said, I'm gonna probably end up cutting this and leaving this structure in place for the moment, and then figure out where it needs to be camber wise, in or out, and then front or back. But the K-member itself, stuck down my bearing bag, bolted in great, clearance in the back. All I've got to do, like I said before, is to make like a small mount back here. Everything else looks great. Bolted up tight, straight. No binding or anything, so that's cool. I'm happy with that. And yeah, so all I gotta do is get some more parts. This is full bump, by the way, so full droop is gonna be less than that. You know, obviously the droop's gonna be down. I may have to put spacers under the K-member just because I'm not sure. I'll have to test it when I go to cut this and move it in. I feel like we might run out of ball joint angle, so I don't know. We'll test it here once we get this cut and we get the uniball in place. Then I'll test it, and I might have to move the K-member down some more, which sucks that I couldn't do it in steel, but I can make some aluminum spacers for that fairly easy, and then have a friend of mine machine a couple bolts, centering bolts, and it should be no big deal. Alright guys, and here's what everybody wants to see. That's full droop travel. Obviously I don't have my bearing cup in yet. The upper shock is just kind of resting zip tied into somewhat of its place. And as you can see, we're crazy wild on the camber right now. So until I get that upper bearing cup, I'm going to actually use a COM 16, which is a 1-inch bore, and then use a misalignment washer or spacers, I guess, to neck it down to the 5/8, which the stem is. I actually did do some makeshift spacers in between the upper mounts, but what my plan is now is to get a solid chunk of aluminum for both sides, 2-inch by 2-inch solid, drill the holes for here, and then run holes, you know, through that to kind of get some weight out of it. I'm not super concerned as aluminum doesn't weigh that much, but once I get that done, then I'll be able to affix a mount back here that basically goes from the original frame of the car down to meet these rear K-member these pads on the original K-member. I was gonna do that in a tube, but it just makes sense to make it, you know, unbolt the bolt there, and I'll just bring pieces off the frame to do that. And obviously I didn't really want to run a spacer here. I tried to allow enough droop in the build of the K-member, and honestly it looks great under the car because the K-member is effectively the same depth as the frame of the car is, but we need more up travel. You can kind of see, you know, where the K-member versus the engine, or where the original frame is. We need more up travel on this control arm. So if we space it down, the control arm for the same ride height keeps getting, you know, more and more up versus flat, which will give us more range of motion in the ball joint. So that's the trick right now. I'm waiting on a bunch of parts, and I'm about out of days off, but we did get, you know, a hunk of stuff done. Got the engine pulled, got it all set up, ready for winter shutdown. Drain the fuel system, put pump gas in it to clean everything out. I've got a bunch of stuff for sale. If anybody needs any of it, get a hold of me on the Facebook or other social medias. Basically, the old engine that come out of this is for sale. The intake setup is for sale separate if somebody wants that. The CPP brakes, basically 5 on 4.5 brakes here. Upper control arms for that setup. I don't really want to sell this K-member because of the way, I mean, I would sell it, but because of the modification to the front steer, I don't really want to be liable for that stuff. So if you want to buy the K-member with the mounts, I would gladly sell them, but I'd probably sell it as to go back to, you know, the Mopar steering box and stuff. You have to use your steering box. I wouldn't sell it with that or the lower arms. But yeah, so if you guys want any of that stuff, get a hold of me. I'm just trying to get rid of it because it's just kicking around space here. And I've already got another K-member over there, which eventually, whenever I get done with getting all this stuff done, I want to fully weld it and then send this out for powder coat. And, you know, eventually I would like to make a jig to make everything one off from my own, so that I can kind of control the weight and then make all of this out of dough call, and then basically it'd just be extremely lightweight. So like our K-member was like 36 pounds if I remember correctly with these arms and stuff. We could probably, I don't know, we would probably cut another 5 or 10 pounds out of it, but it's not something I'm going to tackle right now. This is good enough for me right now. Losing 126 pounds is good enough. And like I said, you know, I'm going to keep these. I got to take my buddy's scales back, but I'm going to keep this as much of one chunk as I can on both sides to scale it. And I'll just use like my bathroom scale to scale it, hopefully. And then the same with the cross member on the inside and underneath. And I don't really know. I kind of expect that we're at 126 pounds right now. I would expect that it's gonna probably cut at least 10 to 15 more pounds with that. And I'm being a little bit dishonest with how I'm doing that, because obviously when I go to set up these bearing cups and stuff, those are going to add a little bit of weight. The aluminum down below is going to add a little bit of weight. It just kind of is what it is. I mean, I would say all in all, probably 140 pounds is where we're going to be at with the added back end weight and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to get this video out here. So I don't know when, essentially that 2x2 solid, I can't find anywhere local, so somebody's gonna have to order me a drop, and I don't know when that'll be. I don't want the video held up by this, because obviously everybody wants to know how much the weight difference is. So hopefully I got some more exciting stuff for you guys to watch. I'm really enjoying this, and it was quite a bit easier than I thought it would be. And I know a lot of people have like commented and messaged me and stuff and said, oh, I wish I had your skill or blah blah blah. And honestly, it's just, you know, it's just grinding and welding. It's not anything super special. You just check that you're square a lot. It doesn't take much skill, and I would recommend anybody to try it. I mean, just order extra material if you're worried about screwing up. I screwed up on 1, 2, 3 bars out of, I made 6 on this. So half. I mean, I just ordered extra material, and yeah, it sucks. But I mean, that material wasn't super expensive. I think it was like 40 or 50 bucks for the whole stick. Maybe I got 2 sticks. I can't remember. Anyways, it was 40 or 50 bucks. So yeah, that sucks. And a lot of people, you know, that's quite a chunk of money. But obviously, I've still got a whole stick here. I was envisioning that I would screw up more. So anyways, I'm gonna keep you guys watching me blabbering. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Hopefully some more exciting stuff to come. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I lied, guys. Obviously, I didn't upload that section. So for you guys that do stick around to the very end and watch all my stuff, here's a little bonus for you. I've got the stuff pretty well done. I got my bearing cups in. I got these bars here. These are made out of the Docol, which is the same as the cage material, just smaller tube. These are 1.25 inches. I'm also going to run a tube from here down into the frame rail. You can see these are actually punched into the frame rail on both sides. So the plan is my engine plate's going to come across those to sturdy it from trying to push the struts inward. And then I'm going to have those bars go pretty much straight in and then directly down to support it a little bit more. My engine plate is back there. You can see it up against that drum. But it has ridiculous amounts of travel. You can see I got my aluminum. It is monstrous travel. Like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do with myself. The only bad thing is at ride height, we are 0 degrees camber, like 0 degrees. But at this amount of droop, obviously it goes to positive camber. And I can't really do anything about that, or I will bind the ball joint. So kind of is what it is. If I were to completely redesign the cage and everything, I could have moved these struts up. So if I moved this up, it would have sucked the wheel end upward more. And I could have got away from running this aluminum spacer, and possibly could have got away with less camber, less positive camber than what I did. But for now, it is what it is. I wanted to use my existing engine bay bars and intersect them. Go ahead and critique my welding. I know I'm not great, like I said. I just do what I can because I can't afford to pay somebody else to do it. So it is what it is. I just want to say thank you for you guys that stick around. I know I don't post much or very often or very consistently, and I appreciate you guys that do tune in to watch my stuff. I'm hoping to, I keep saying this, to make a run at it and to try to get on a schedule where I can do every week or every other week, maybe even just once a month, and just consistently do that. But it's hard. I mean, life gets in the way. Obviously, I got other stuff going on. I just had my garage spray foamed right before Christmas. We had to put a dog down, and that sucks. And I didn't really do much in the way of the car or the garage in that couple weeks, just because, you know, it's like losing a family member. So yeah, hopefully 2023 I got a surprise for you guys. Next video is going to be about the power plant. I'm going to spill what all I've got for it, and I'm going to talk about another engine that I bought on the 1st. So tell you guys all the plans about that. Thank you again for watching. Thank you guys for the people that support and follow me. You guys are the MVPs, and I can't thank you enough.